Your move, your move.
So starting off with the deck profile today, we have triple Rescue Ace Airlifter. This guy is a 1-card combo into your Turbulence, which is a set 4. So we're obviously playing 3 of him. Konami, please give him a super rare reprint. I'm tired of playing these rares, but until the meantime, I shall be playing 3 of them. He's pretty much the only 3 of Rescue Ace we're playing. We're playing double Turbulence, because Turbulence is just the heart and soul, really. He's like the win condition in a way. Summon him, set 4, and that you get to at least 3 disruptions. You have a pop, a negate, and a Book of Moon from the Preventer. So it's absolutely incredible what this card does for the deck. It really lets you get back into those games which are pretty unwinnable. We have double of the Hydrant. I cut Hydrant down from 3 to 2 because we now have the Diabellstar engine, which is in this deck, meaning we can special him for free from the deck as he's a level 1 fire if need be. And him alone, the problem is with Hydrant alone isn't enough for Turbulence. Hydrant is basically an IP into an SP. That's why I'm only playing 2, because your normal Hydrant, you can basically use his effect, get Preventer, link him away into Link Karibo, use Preventer, summon him, make a SP, summon back Hydrant, and that's pretty much your turn. So that is why Hydrant alone isn't enough, and why Airlifter is better. Speaking of Preventer, we have double Preventer. Absolutely incredible what this monster has done for the deck. Insane. It not only does it put a body on field by banishing a card, it's a Book of Moon, and when it leaves the field, it specials back. So it's 2 bodies and a Book of Moon. It's incredible. It has super reprints, which I'm hoping to pick up very soon. We have the 1 Fire Engine and the 1 Impulse. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Impulse. However, going first, you never really want to see him. So that is the problem I had with pure Rescue Ace, is that going first, most of my bricks would be because I opened multiple Impulse or multiple of, the Fire Engine with other high-level monsters. So just playing 1 of each is better for me personally. Going second, I personally play 2 Impulse in the side, so that going second, I can guarantee, or not guarantee, but hopefully see a better chance of drawing the Impulse, which will then get me into Engine and Disruption during my opponent's turn and my turn 0. For the spells, we have Triple Emergency. Really happy that this got a super reprint as well. Sadly, you only have 1 at the moment that is super, but we will be looking to pick up, and we are going for a max rarity theme with this deck if you haven't figured it out by now. So Triple Emergency, card's amazing. Not only is it an E-Telly, it's sometimes better, because yes, E-Telly means you don't have to get rid of a card from the field or hand, but this lets you dodge targeting Debela or Impum, a Hydrant or Turbulence or whatever, an Airlifter. You can chain Emergency, summon, and remove that monster that they're targeting from the field, and then the effects will resolve. So really nice. For the one-offs, and we play quite a few, we have 1 Rescue and 1 Alert. Functionally almost the same artwork and very similar effects. Rescue special summons 1 from the graveyard, and if you control Hydrant, it's a monster reborn from your opponent's graveyard. Alert grabs you 1 back from the grave, and if you control Hydrant, you can grab 1 from the deck instead. Very useful. You only play them at 1 because you're going to be setting them off your Turbulence. We play the 1 field spell. Yeah, I think it's mandatory that you play the field spell. I wouldn't say I'd play more than 1. Sometimes I do side this out. It's more for the grind games. If you're going to go first and you're going to set up, the usual Unbreakable board, which is the Baron Savage with the set 4 and a bunch of interruption, you don't really need to have the HQ, which is why I side it out. But if you are going against a grindy deck, if you are going to be going against your Labyrinths, your stun decks, your control decks, HQ is really one of the best cards in the deck, because it's going to be constantly putting back 4 Rescue Aces into your deck, meaning that, you're going to be putting your resources back, you're going to be drawing cards, additional normal summons, extra attack, just really useful card to have, and I still main it. And for the traps, we play 1 Extinguish, 1 Contain. That is it. Don't play Reinforce, don't get me wrong, I like it, can be a cool tech. However, we want consistency here, we want cards that do things to our opponent. This pops, this negates, and if you have Hydrant, this is essentially a warning point in terms of it's negated, can't attack, can't be used for any materials, and this is a pop mixed in with a Call by the Grave of that monster's effects, cannot be activated for the rest of the turn on the field, monster with its name. So really, really nice cards. They just do enough, in my opinion, to slow down your opponent. and then on the crackback you will kill them, or you'll reestablish this and you'll basically become too far ahead in game state and card advantage for them to keep up. So that is the Rescue Ace part of the deck. It is a heavy amount, but you know, you are wanting to see these cards, and these are the win condition in a way. The Rescue Ace is how you win the game, the Rescue Ace engine. We play 2 Fenrir for non-engine. I like Fenrir a lot. He is a lot better now that we have Impulse at 1, because obviously if you use Impulse, you'll end up with bodies on the field, meaning your Fenrir is dead. I play 2 because 1 can touch the other. I don't want to be drawing multiple Fenrirs. I need every card in my hand to be as powerful as possible and do something. So I'm playing 2 Fenrir, and Fenrir fuels the discard for the Jet Synchron as well, which is very lovely. Or can also fuel the Witch, the Diabell Star Witch, discard from hand to summon. So really, really nice. For the spells of a different engine, we have obviously the Wanted engine. It's absolutely incredible. Don't know if you can tell in the camera, but these are very beautiful QCRs. I'm very, very happy with this engine. It's basically a Nadir's Servant in terms of you can grab from the deck and the graveyard, meaning it is bellable, so you do have to be careful in that regard. But also, if this card didn't do enough, being a quick play, you can do it during draw phase, play around draw, you can banish it from the graveyard. You can put back one of your banished Wanted cards, so usually the Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, and you put it to the bottom of the deck and you draw a card. That is ridiculous. This card's insane. We have the 1 original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye. Of course, we can recycle it with Wanted, so we only ever really need the 1. You're either going to be summoning Hydrant or Jet, depending on how good your hand is and how much you need Turbulence. But incredible card. Obviously, you send one other face-up card you control to the graveyard and special summon a level 1 fire from the deck, which is Hydrant or Jet Synchron. And also, you can banish this card from the grave, add a level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, so it's another Rota, and then place the Diabell Star Witch back into the deck. So again, the engine recycled. This engine's too good, in my opinion, and I do think it will be hitting the list eventually. We have the 1 Diabell Star, the Black Witch, again, a beautiful QCR. I don't think you can really pick it up on the camera, but it is very, very beautiful. And if you don't know what this card does, is it's going to be able to send itself, well, send a card from the hand or field to the graveyard and special summon itself. And then when it's special, its effect activates, it will be able to set a Sinful Spoils spell or trap. We only play these directly from the deck to the field, so we can't even ash it. Usually this, so you can immediately activate it. So really, really nice. It also has an effect that if it does go to the graveyard, you can reborn itself. That hardly ever comes up, but it's there, just so you guys know. It's also level 7, which is important when you pair it up with this guy, Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron makes this deck incredibly unfair. If you don't know just how good Jet Synchron is, I'm going to show you in a future video in a combo guide, but for now you're just going to have to take my word for it. He's a level 1 tuner, meaning Diabell Star and Jet Synchron make your Borrowed Savage, and the combo line requires you to make Link Karibo, send it to the graveyard with your Sinful Spoils, special Jet Synchron, make Savage, equip Karibo for your negate, commit the Turbulence. They can't really negate it now because you have the negate on Savage. Reborn your Jet Synchron, and then with Turbulence and Jet Synchron, you go into Baron de Fleur, so another Omni. So this gives you 2 Omni negates and guarantees safety on the Turbulence. So incredible card. Sucks when you draw it, although sometimes it's not too bad if you can get access to the Witch. You can just discard it from your hand, special the Witch, and then you should still have the graveyard effect to go off, and this will just summon a Hydrant instead. So it's not the end of the world. It's not a hard brick like some other things where you just can't use it and you just, never want to see it. You can still play with this card in your hand. I still see it more often than I would like. I am playing 41 to try and mitigate that while keeping as consistent as possible. I know people say play 40. I just am really happy with 41, and that's really rare for me. I never really play over 40, but I'm playing 41 with this, and I still see him a lot, but what can you do? For the hand traps, I'm playing a nice amount of them because I think hand traps are vital this format. We play Triple Ash. I will be hopefully picking these up in QCR very soon. Triple Effect Vela, and there should be a impermanence somewhere. Here it is, yeah. I knew it was somewhere. Yeah, Triple Ash, and then obviously we have the Triple Imperm. I think these are fantastic hand traps this format. Ash is Ash. Imperm doesn't trigger Tactics or Thrust, which is fantastic, which is why I like it. And Vela is just a non-once per turn, sort of like an Imperm, but a bit worse. Just negates. Obviously, Imperm is really good to draw as a 6th card as well, unlike your Vela. So I think these hand traps cover a wide range of decks. I think once the Fire Kings actually come out, Bell could be very good. Depending on the engine they play, they can play the Dogmaticas, they can also play the Sinful Spoil stuff. And as I mentioned, you can Bell it. Ogre as well could be potentially very good with the Centaurian stuff as well. We'll have to see how that goes. But for now, these are the hand traps I'm playing, and I am very, very happy with them. For the power spells, I am playing 2 Prosp. Might think it's weird, but if you Prosp, you can't get your draw from Wanted. So that's why I'm playing 2. Obviously, the deck is very consistent as it is anyway. This obviously gives you more consistency. So if you feel like playing 3, go for it. I just think 2 is fine. We have 1 Rota. This gets you Airlifter, and Airlifter is a 1-card combo. Not really much else to be said. We have the 1 Call By. You could potentially cut this if you want to play 40. It just makes you more hand trap protected, you know, protects you more from hand traps, makes you more hand trap resistant and resilient is what I was going for there. And we have the 1 Triple Tactics Talent. You can cut this if you really want. Again, if my opponent's going to be hand trapping me, I need to find a way to punish them for it, and that's why I like playing the talents and the call by, because yeah, hand trap me, but then I'm going to look at your hand and I'm going to see what you have, and then I'm going to try and make the best board able to beat that. So yeah, you can cut it, play 40. I like it. I'm playing it. So yeah, that's the main deck. 41 cards. Let's go on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, we're starting off with a beautiful Starlight Rare Access Code Talker. You make him a lot. He helps you seal out games. I think your opponents usually scoop well before because they can just see that they have insane card advantage. But if they don't scoop and it's like a game 2 or 3 and the opponent could lose, just make access code. Obviously, if you get nibbed when you make access code, it never feels great. However, he seals out games. His effect cannot be responded to. And you just pop like 2 or 3 cards and then he becomes, you know, he's 4-3. Right now, with the extra deck, I'm trying to find a way to get a good Link 3 in. I was playing Unicorn. I think I'm going to put him back in, to be honest, because it makes the access code with a Turbulence a OTK, whereas if he's 4-3 plus 3k, it's not an OTK. So I need to find a way to squeeze in a Unicorn. You guys can look at my extra deck with me now. We can try and make a decision based on what I need to cut. We have the 1 Apo. I have a Starlight. I'm just too scared to use it. Going to have to man up one day and just put it in. You don't really make this as much as you used to. I used to make this card a lot before the Diabellstar stuff. Now the Diabellstar stuff are Omni Negates, so you never really commit to the Appaloosa line. However, if you open Pure Rescue Ace, and for example, they give you an Ash, they Ash you, you can make Heater, take the Ash, and then you just need 1 more body, and you can make an Apo. So Apo sometimes comes up, just not as often anymore. We still play the Heat Leo package with the Wolf. I like this package. 2 fires, the entire Rescue Ace is fire, and then you can make a Wolf, get a resource back, which is good for your Diabellstar stuff, and also you can go into the Heatleo and spin a back row, meaning they have to use it right there and then, or they let it go into the deck, make access code, and this guy's a Link 3, meaning 5-3. And why is that so important? Because access code and Turbulence is enough for game. We play the beautiful Quarter Century Rare SP with a not so beautiful, just generic Secret Rare IP. SP in this deck gives it a whole other level of sort of, you know, hand trap dodging abilities. If you make SP, they have to hand trap you on the Turbulence summon, because if you go Turbulence effect and they go Imperm or Veiler, you chain SP, banish your Turbulence, set 4, and then, you know, the cards return, which is really nice. You can banish your Barons that have used their negates. When they come back, the negate is reset because it left the field. So really, really beautiful card. And of course, the IP threatens to make it during your opponent's turn, which obviously gives you a banish on summon and then another banish for a monster for extra disruption. For the Charmers, we play 1 Dark, beautiful Starlight Rare with a not so beautiful super rare Heater. Dark comes up a lot, guys, and Link Karibo is a Dark, meaning Hydrant can either make you go into the Heater or Dark line, which I think is great versatility. I've taken a lot of amazing things. I've taken Magnamoots, I've taken DPs, I've taken a bunch. Usually Heater just usually takes Ash. However, that's usually enough to continue the Link line. For the Link 2, I play 1 Nightmare Phoenix. Don't really make this anymore. Maybe this is something I could put in replacement for Nightmare Unicorn. However, it's a fire. It can discard a card, which sometimes comes up. Sometimes you just need an extra name in the grave, so you get 2 for the Turbulence effect. So, you know, it's there. It serves a purpose. It helps against back row, which isn't our strongest matchup. We have, for the Link 1s, 1 Link Karibo. Card's essential. Definitely play this card 1,000,000%. We play the 1 Relinquished Anima. Now, this card punishes, I guess you can say, the bad players. I don't think, players are necessarily bad, but the players that are careless with their zones is what I'm trying to say. The anima is a huge punish for that, especially if they put a negate in the anima zone. You can anima and they force the negate right there and then, or they lose it, which is why I think it's good. Most of the time I'm banishing this off prosp if my opponent hasn't put anything in the zones. We have one Zeus. This is something maybe I can cut. This never really comes up, but since I am playing talents, there is the potential of stealing an Xyz, attacking and making Zeus over it. So that is why I play it. We have the Anti-Zeus, which is an incredible card. This card, if you make it, you have to be really sure that it's going to be able to stick, because it does sort of end your turn right there and then with no more summons. But it is really nice to sort of break the board and then commit this onto a random monster that's laying around. Obviously, if it has to be the highest attack, so usually Turb. And then you have all, the negates with this, and this can bounce back to the extra deck. A random monster that's giving you a problem. And then, you can just get over things. And it's also a skill drain for things over 3k. We have the one Baron, as I mentioned, looking to rarity bump this as soon as possible. This card comes up almost every game now because of Jet Synchron. Same said with the Borrowed Savage. These cards are your Omnis. This is why we no longer fear evenly matched anymore, unless they open Dark Ruler evenly, which in that case, I don't think you were winning that game regardless. And yeah, just 2 Omni Negates. Very, very amazing. And of course, we have the 1 token. Just make sure you always have a token laying around, guys. And with that, let's move on to the side deck. Moving on to the side, we have Triple of the Rock. Gotta punish those combo decks. When you are going second, you gotta find a way. It's either this or D-Shifter or Droll. For now, it's just Nibiru. I was playing D-Shifter for a long time, but I think the Rock is sometimes more impactful, believe it or not. You can also put Droll in here. Droll's amazing punish against Pearlies. The Rock, not so much. We have double Rescue Ace Impulse, which I think is fantastic. He's also against the Pearly matchup. You need him for the Noir because you normal summon him and they're forced to use the Noir right there and then, meaning you can chain him, meaning they have to immediately use 2 Noir effects for the cost of 1 card, meaning it's probably targetable now and being able to, well, maybe not targetable because of the field spell, but at least now it'll be affected by things, meaning you can deal with it better. The field spell, I'd say, is probably the most problematic card in or the entire Pearly matchup is the field spell because it gives them targeting protection and most of your stuff, if not everything, targets. So just be wary of that. We play triple Cosmic Cyclone, a bit of a niche pick, I guess you can say. There's a lot of back row in my locals, I guess, and I just don't feel like losing to back row matchups and floodgates. So I try putting the Cosmics. We have double triple Tactic Thrust. Would I play this in the main? Probably not. I think it's an amazing side deck card because this lets you see your other side deck cards, which is what I like about it. We still play 1 Herald. If we can, go for Herald instead of Impulse, we do that pretty much every time because that means we don't need to commit a body to the field, and this is a bigger punish if they don't play around it for the Pearly matchup. We play the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, brutal in the back row matchups. If you draw it, we have the 1 Evenly, again, brutal for most combo decks if you go through the negates, which Rescue Ace probably will. And then double D-Barrier to, again, deal with random things like Pearly, fusion decks like Branded, Sword Soul, anything that this card hits, it's amazing. Drytrons, everything. So, yeah, that is the side deck, and I hope you guys enjoyed this Rescue Ace deck. It's time!